I swear I'm here. I swear I'm here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's a Long Story, a thrice weekly campaign set in the beautiful, wonderful world of Imea. Soon to be a fourth quadrilla. We'll have a different
a term for it.
We'll have a different intro at that point, I think. But yes, welcome. We are here with our awesome group, the Unearthed Arcanum. Everybody take a look at the camera, wave, and say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hey, everybody.
Yep, and everybody was looking at Dan when we said that. Dan, you're definitely a good, solid second off again, my friend, but we love you. Cool. So before we begin tonight, just a couple announcements kind of up top. First things first, we had mentioned before that Campaign 4 is starting very, very soon. We said the 20th is actually now going to be the 27th. But still, Campaign 4 starting the 27th. So in the same world, in the happening at the same time, we know that for sure we are having Evan is actually going to be joining as a different character, as a separate character that has no idea of the world that he's going into as far as anything with North Imea and the fun stuff that we've already discovered in that. But yeah, really excited. So we have 3 players, possibly 4, but we still need more. So this is actually a time where we're gonna just kind of talk about real quick what the campaign is about. It is in a place that is south of South Imea, an area that is known as the Isles. A group of set of islands that have a interesting sort of mysterious element to them, built with a lot of tropical sort of environments. There's going to be some like ship v ship combat stuff, a lot of pirate-esque sort of things, or as sailors, as I'm going to keep making that joke no matter who laughs at that. But yeah, so cannons, definitely cannons, which is good. So yeah, so if you're interested in jumping into that or asking any questions about it, we have if you're watching this on YouTube, we have the link in the video description to check out for that. But also I will be dropping it in the private chat here as we continue on with the rest of the announcements. Is there anything I forgot about specifically with Tales of Maya Isles? I think I went a little fast through that. It's really cool. You should check it out. It's going to be awesome. It's going to start out November 27th, so in a couple weeks. Cool. After that, about 3 or so months ago, a time ago, I know this is backwards, but I ended up actually getting the shirt today.
Nice.
It says, it's fitting that it's backwards because it's Candela Obscura. We have our own Candela Obscura game that we hosted a time ago, 3 or 4 months ago. We did a playtest of our version of it in a homebrew setting, having a solid foot a little bit more into the realistic realm, as we have our version that is known as Shadows of the North Shore, a cosmic horror game that is designed in the midst of the turn of the century 1901 North Shore, Massachusetts, 200 years after the Salem witch trials. So if you are unfamiliar with Candela Obscura, they just wrapped up their second sort of mini campaign, which was awesome, by the way. They were really long sessions, but the last one I think was 6 hours. But if you have ADD like me, it just flies by. You just hyper focus on it, and before you know it, you've missed a whole day of sleep. But yes, so Candela Obscura, really cool sort of system design into the introspective high stakes, one of the simplest systems that I've ever actually worked with. We had a good amount of people who were actually involved in our playtest. So we had, Clinton, we had Kiki, we had Evan. Kiki is going to be joining as soon as we get more players for that, as we are trying desperately to find. So if you're interested in playing in a kind of more real life setting of a cosmic horror style game, again, truly with a very extremely easy system to learn, please check it out. Jump in. I will put that link in the private chat as well. Cool. And then last but not least, we are dead in the middle of, we're just going to be finishing our first arc of our Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt. Our very heavy Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Gothic horror, blood and gore and guts and things mini campaign. This is a drop-in, drop-out style campaign. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with what that means, that basically means you can join for a session, you could join for multiple sessions, you could join for 3 sessions and then drop out for 2 and then come back, whatever you would like. But for this one, specifically that Bloodborne sort of Dark Souls-esque supplement that's been designed for D&D specifically. Very cool system. Actually, Evan, you've been playing with it for a little bit. Evan, you want to just mention your experience with it so far as I'm catching up?
Yeah, like it makes you feel super cool. Like there's so many different parts of it, and the setting is actually really kind of. I mean, it's Dark Souls, it's Bloodborne. Last week, someone got pulled apart, like an enemy got pulled apart. That was awesome. It just makes you feel like a superhero, like you get to feel really cool, and also maybe get a madness. So yeah, I mean, I've had a ton of fun with it. It's just fun. It's fun, but also dark.
Fun, but also dark. Yes. Yeah, I guess that should be a good point to bring up. It is certainly dark. It's very like it deals with some very extremely serious dark matters. But to be honest with you, we really truly have a fun time and laugh almost the entire time with it. Very cool scenes, and I'm excited for this weekend. We are just finishing up an arc for that, and then jumping into our next level. So if you are interested in joining, the first session is free for you. So that means, yes, exactly, Clinton, free. Crazy. So if you are interested in just checking it out, even just like kind of playing a first session and getting kind of your feet wet into it, feel free to check it out. The only thing I would say is that if you are unfamiliar with D&D, if this would be your first D&D game, please don't let this be your first D&D game. It is a little bit crunchier. It's a little bit over the top. I think worst case scenario, you would also feel like you could do a lot more stuff than you could do in a standard D&D game starting out, as the enemies themselves are also much harder in this game. So yes, I just dropped the link in the private chat if you want to check that out, and feel free to ask me if there are any questions. Easiest way to get in contact with me would probably be through Start Playing. So again, that link is through the video description, but you can also just feel free to kind of leave a comment here and ask me through that. We also have our social media stuff. I'll put that in there as well. Our little link tree to contact us or check out our Instagram and YouTube, obviously, as well as our TikTok. I think
Why'd you put air quotes around Instagram?
Did I do that?
Visit our Instagram.
Did I do that? I'm so sorry if I did that. I think I meant to do this. I was just seeing because I say sailors and I do this. I do this for sailors, and no one has laughed at that, and I think that's a really funny joke because it's like, oh, well, we're not pirates, we're sailors, but that's never gotten a laugh. So maybe subconsciously, guys, there's so much cold medicine running through my head right now that I'm just realizing now. So if I seem to say something or do something crazy, nothing will be new. But feel free to disregard. No, we have an awesome and fantastic social media team that has been extremely helpful in getting this proverbial ship. Notice I didn't do air quotes there, off the ground. Yeah. Who is doing the recap?
I volunteer as tribute.
All right, very cool, awesome. So, before we begin tonight, we want to get an idea of where we left off. So, Kiki, please take it away.
So last week we started with the group separated with Alistair and Siobhan running a little ways behind with some of the NPCs, and the rest of the group forward on the beach after 3 of them had already been pelted by mystery rocks while they were checking out a very old shipwreck. As they were out on the beach, I believe it was Nilani identified that the danger was coming from the tree line, so they all tried to take cover around the ship. And Gwen, in a stroke of brilliance, set, I think he can air quote that one, set something on fire, set the little habitat of these plant creatures on fire, which were coming out of the woodworks, per se, to attack them. And then with her insight and perception, she saw that they didn't want to have their home burned down, and that helped her to negotiate a sort of ceasefire between them. While all that was going on, Alistair and Siobhan and 2 other, I forgot who it was, Fingers and Scruff or something. I'll get his name one day. Gruff.
A bit gruff.
Gruff. We're walking. Alistair saw an interesting looking plant and went down to take a look at it while another plant creature approached, and Siobhan tried to get between them and protect them, but they both got sprayed with a little bit of a poison spray. Alistair managed to snatch it up in his bag, this living plant, and then we ran towards the beach because we heard the screaming. Arriving at the beach, came to realize the plant things were not bad, and there was a small goblin humanoid being who was just trying to protect his home, which is the shipwreck. And what did I miss? Metagaming pigeon.
Jorri.
Jorri.
Yes.
Oh,
And the
shoot,
tail?
Jorri. Jorri wasn't with any of us. He was climbing a damn mountain with his packle. And then he saw a bunch of weird creatures carved, there we go, air quotes again, out of the rock. Quickly identified that there was a basilisk coming out of the mountain at him. Did a really cool thing where he shrunk his packle, he grew really big, he launched off the side of the mountain with his packle in his arms and kind of glided down on his wings towards the beach. Once he arrived, he became not fast friends, but definitely built much more of a relationship with the small goblinoid than the rest of us were. As he went inside and realized that it was his home, that he likes to set things on fire in his home to include his home itself, and that there is a shit ton of gold there that we've all slowly been acquiring. Gwen had a nice discussion, led a nice discussion about if we bring this goblinoid with us to civilization and to give him a proper home, and if we either bring the little plant things or leave them behind. She advocated to let this society grow on its own, while Alistair quietly contemplated killing and keeping the thing in his bag for science. Only him and Siobhan know that's still in the bag, but it is still alive. And as everything was calming down, Nilani climbed to the top of the mast of the shipwrecked ship and saw a strange flag in the distance. And as we were sitting down, settling into a nice bonfire on the beach to rest for a much-needed long rest, I think that's where we ended.
Mm-hmm.
Please let me know if I missed anything.
I found
feel
a
like you
pocket
nailed it.
watch.
Alistair found a pocket
Oh, you
watch.
did find a pocket
Yes.
watch.
You did find
yeah.
a pocket
Found a
watch,
pocket
yes.
watch.
And we found a lot of gold.
We did, yes,
Oh,
Got lots of gold.
finally. What we don't have is a lot of rest.
You know, the thing is everybody's so excited to get the gold, but nobody talks about where are we going to spend it right now? I mean,
We're going to Dare's Wharf.
Yeah,
We
I feel
will
like
make it
gold is
there.
important
just
there
saying.
for many reasons.
If it hasn't been made clear, I think something that I think I've talked about with several groups, but never above board. I'm not a big fan of giving gold out. I like the idea of like doing the shopping sort of thing. I like the concept, but I also just really like just giving you guys items and kind of just handling that for what
I
it
like
is.
finding them.
So, but you know, I've had a couple. I think Mongoose Creeps was like, yeah, we've been playing forever. We have like no gold. I was like, all right, guys, you want gold? Go ahead. All right, now what are you gonna do with it?
Exactly.
We're gonna use it for bribery once we get
5,000.
I
You may have just
Yeah.
got a treasure chest
Criminal
with 5,000
activities.
gold in it.
Criminal activity. Yes.
Ton of cool items.
Yep, that's right. So, in my view, it's just like life. Money is just something you'll forget that you have until you need it, and then you don't
I
have it.
won't.
I mean, dude, that's like every 20 minutes for me. So thanks for that.
I'm
Yep.
going
Yeah.
full Vexalia on this
Just a
gold.
reminder.
Yep. Real life. Cool. Awesome. So, in this time, going into our scene with our crew, we're going to change things up a little bit. We usually put in a perspective of the scene being presented from a break in the camera coming down from some extended source. But in this case, we're going to start with words and fire. Sorry, friends. Just realizing that on the live stream, we are not hearing it or seeing it. Anybody else noticing that?
Well, live. Sorry, I don't have the light up.
Yeah, I have it up.
Ah, poop.
It's really cool.
Let me try one more thing.
If it doesn't come through the live stream, I could also we could also put it up so that people could watch it at some point if they want to know what was said during that period.
Hey,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if this sounds childish.
Oh,
But there's
now it's coming
something
through.
I've
Fair.
been thinking
Let's try this
about.
again.
Something I've come to believe. We are Karas. I believe we share fate. And whether we like it, or each other, or not, if we are fate-bound, it can be difficult to change. But if we bleed together, share words, share food, remain unhidden and without doubt, these things can change whether we are eaten by the whim of the world or we carve our name into its stone. We don't get to live by normal rules.
Is it freezing up for you guys?
Mhm.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay. As we take a moment here, hearing the words from Jorri, as the fire starts to zoom out, the faces reflect the fire. We see the figure of a man. Small bags under his eyes. A sallow face. Short brown hair that we could tell is probably normally very well combed, but in this moment it's become a little wild. We see a tiefling. Eyes reflecting off the shine of the glasses that she's wearing. Deep in thought. We see a small boy who finishes talking after staring at the flames, and the orange hair seemingly almost catching the same light as he stares down at the ground at the end of his statement. We see a figure, long, elongated features, humanoid face, long blonde hair. we see a figure that represents a question mark on the constraints and abilities and definition of what is human. And almost representing the antithesis of that, we see a figure that somehow reflected in the eyes and in the porcelain skin showing an understanding of, or misunderstanding of what a human even is. As you all take that moment in catching the perspective of the people around you, maybe looking at all of them together for the very first time. Away from the stigma, culture, the background that usually surrounds them. The floor is yours. We see a small goblinoid figure kind of huddled, staring at the fire, also seemingly kind of lost in thought, but maybe in an area that seems to be a little bit more reflective on. They're not looking at the rest of you, they're looking just at the flames. In a slightly obsessive sort of way, as Gutter is leaning in close to this large flame. Would anyone like to speak here?
I mean, I think after Jorri speaks, I think he might actually, he looks embarrassed, looks at the ground, and kind of jumps up and flies into the air a little bit, and just over to where the ship is, and just sort of sits kind of on the edge of where the ship, some edge of the ship with his legs kind of dangling over, looking at the fire from there, and kind of just letting everybody have their space.
I think Io's going to kind of, after that, that, when's the last time we did this? And, just be alone with our thoughts, relax by a campfire. Is this a first for us?
The night before Gwen left for Maracaba was the last time the three of us were together.
Yeah.
That takes
It's been a while since we've just sort of sat.
in.
It's nice.
When it is, it really is. Is Jorri in it? Like you said, he flew off near the ship. I'm assuming the wrecked ship, not our
The red
ship.
ship. Yeah. He's not far away. He just, what I assume is that we kind of have a bonfire. We took pieces of the ship to make the bonfire, so it's the crash ship, whatever, the wrecked ship. So, I think he just backed off from the fire a little bit, took a step back from, where everyone was, but he's still within earshot. He's still there.
Okay.
Just a little bit further away.
I think so. Yeah, and this was something that I wanted to kind of clarify too, because there's something to Jorri wanting to clearly pull everyone together in this moment, and then backing away.
Mm-hmm. Hey, little man. You just spent what, the past 2 minutes or so spitting facts, and then, come on, you're a part of this too. This is our time to really. I'm just saying, I think you're right. Come on, y'all. Did any of y'all think we were gonna end up here? Doing this together? I'm still waiting, by the way. Well, we're still waiting, right, guys? Nudges. Who's the person sitting closest to me?
You tell me.
Good question. Okay.
Probably
I'm assuming-
Nilani.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
probably Bonnie.
Probably Nilani. Nudging Nilani. It's like, come on. Come on. Like, this is a big little, I don't know, family might be a strong word moment, but there's a good bonding moment.
I think Nilani kind of noticeably jumps. He was in an elf-like trance, staring at the fire, just kind of zoned out. What'd you say, Io?
I'm just saying, Jorri just told us about ourselves, and the fact that we should be going through this kind of stuff together, and I'm just saying, flies off, he should join us. Let's just be together.
I don't think Jorri is the one that needs that, Io.
Yeah, I feel like all of us kind of do, but who do you feel needs it the most at the moment, Al?
The rest of us here at the fire.
Okay, fair. I was just asking, for clarification's sake. By the way, you cold, warm, comfortable?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. How do you feel, man?
I feel like I'm weeks behind on work, to be honest with you. There's so many things that need to get done, and every day brings more things that need to get done. How do you feel with the seashell?
Actually, honestly about that, this thing is, I feel like I'm starting to understand why you pulled that stunt to grab it. This thing is interesting. It's weird. I can tell it. All right. So we're not on the boat, so I can say this. I think my patron was trying to put some influence on me because I took a look at the book when I got. By the way, if I did something you might regret, I'm sorry. I was pissed.
Hey, could you do me a favor? Stop. I'm sorry. I don't mean it. Can you just look at Siobhan for a second? Just look at her, please.
Siobhan's staring
okay.
at Gwen, trying to read her reaction from when Al brought up that night. She hasn't
Okay.
stopped staring at Gwen.
And I think he glances and looks back. It's like, okay, she's looking at Gwen. What?
No. What do you see?
See what looks closer. Do I notice? I mean, I feel like
What does
This is probably
Siobhan
my-
look like right now?
yeah. Good question.
Kara.
Okay.
Now the whole gold, the kintsugi. Do I notice? Is that my first?
No, you
would
haven't
this be
seen
my
it.
first time seeing that?
It only
It's
happens
not
when
there the
shift
whole time.
and
It's only
nobody's
happening
seen it.
when she shifts. Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
think
thought
the
it was.
person who's
I
seen
thought
it
it was like
is-
inlaid in her skin.
Nope.
No, I think the only person who's seen it is Alistair. I don't know if I actually showed you that yet. I think Boaz is the only one who's
Incident
seen
when he
it.
took you into.
Boaz. I
Yeah,
think
but
just
Alistair took you into the little.
I didn't shift in front of him though.
I thought that's how you kind of woke up there. Okay.
No. So specifically to his mask standing next to Kara.
Oh.
In character or asking Io this specifically now?
I'm asking the DM, which the answer could be no, but
I mean, I might be the only one that can see him.
Yeah, at this point, you cannot see Mask. Neither of you can see Mask. The only one that can is Siobhan.
yeah. I knew I couldn't anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm just the crazy dude going, what do you see? Got it.
So to be clear, you're saying what do you see because you don't see anything?
No, I know
Because he
I
has a
don't.
shell now.
Yeah, because I only saw him when I had the shell. Now I
Right,
know
right,
that Io has the shell. Because the reason I had Gwen touch it was because I wanted to see if Gwen could see Mask.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, makes sense.
Instead, she saw blood everywhere. Still sees
Everywhere.
blood.
Still sees blood everywhere.
Still
Yeah.
see-
So, okay, what does Shiv have to do with the shell?
Nothing. Never mind.
I mean, if you let me know, I could help.
Nope.
Maybe.
It's not important. It's fine.
I mean, humor me. Humor you? Maybe. If you really say drop it, I'll drop it. But
No, it's just when I was holding it, it felt like I had a connection with Kara that seemed different, and I didn't know if you felt that.
not that. But what about this? The thing seems to have an influence on my patron in a way. Like I felt its influence coming on, but then as the book was as the shell was kind of doing this weird glowing shit it was doing, it seemed like with each rhythm, I got less of a, I guess, weird. I don't even know what emotion to put to it, but I associate it with the book. So this thing is interesting.
Gwen, there is a square shape on the inside of the shell. It matches one that me and Kara saw above a cave not far from here, and what's on Gutter. Is that what we're calling him, Gutter?
That's what he said his name was.
He said that. Okay. Mr. On Gutter's forehead as well. Have you ever run across anything like that?
Gwen would go and sort of peer at the square on Gutter's forehead. Has she ever run into anything like that?
Gutter, hearing his name, did snap out for a second, looks around, not entirely sure what you guys are talking about, and then ended up just going back to peering in the flames. Roll me an investigation check. Investigation or history, your call.
Definitely history. Does this have to do with magic? Because still disadvantage on everything that doesn't.
Right, not directly, unfortunately.
Okay. A disadvantage then. All right. That's gonna be what's my history? +6. Only an 11.
With an 11, you get the feeling that 11 beats the DC of understanding that when you see something that is marked on an indigenous creature's forehead, usually that's a representation of something of representing like a spiritual or cultural thing. The only thing that you can presume is that Gutter knows something about the cave that you're going into, or the cave that you saw. As far as any sort of reflection of like having any sort of historical significance with that square marking to it, no.
Okay. I think she would just. No, it's aside from there being some sort of maybe cultural significance to it that connects the three things. I've never run into it before.
Well, before you guys met Gutter, Kara and I were gonna go in the cave. It would be great if you could lead the way.
I would love nothing more than that.
You know what else we did before we came to meet up with him and after we saw the cave, Alistair?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I feel like tonight's a sharing night. You want to share what that was?
Shaw tried to kiss me.
Excuse me.
And that laugh is in character, by the way.
What? He has one of those plant things in his bag. I was trying to give him the opportunity to come clean and let it go.
What plant things?
Also, that was probably the lamest lie you could have gone for. It's more likely that I tried to stab you. They might have
You
believed
had
that.
said that. I think we would have all. You
Yeah,
have
that
plants in your bag,
is
Alice?
very fair.
Yeah.
I believe in you, Alistair. You could have tried to kiss her.
That
Well, yeah, it's just but Nalani, obviously the reverse would never happen. I mean, come on.
So I'll reach into the bag and God, I hope that guy's okay. He's been there for a while. As I grab him, though, I still have a small, like this big size piece of the cave wyvern's hide that specifically has a hole in it from where a coin went through it. I cut it off of the head.
Ooh.
When I put him on the ground, praying to God he's okay and not aggressive at the moment, I want to slide that over his head like a chicken for him to wear. And I'm going to attach an Alistair special button to the front of his new tabard he is wearing.
He's introducing clothing.
And lastly, hold on. Well, final thing, I'm gonna give him a sewing needle to carry. And I fully intended on doing all of this.
This is Tales of Despero.
Anyway.
I need you to roll me a d20 first.
Oh no. Oh no.
That's a 12.
Okay.
Yes.
You see the figure itself comes out. You see it kind of kind of looks around. You drop it on the ground. You can see it's kind of just dizzy and just like lost. This is a tropical island full of plants and everything that would be rich in the carbon dioxide of the soil to the oxygen in the air, and it's had none of that for an extended amount of time. It is barely alive as you put a I imagine, because is this the whole hide, or you took off a section like a corner that had the coin in it?
Yeah, so we skinned the whole thing. I ended up giving that to Madame Zalia, I guess, or whatever her name was. And then
Gotcha.
I cut a small one out because I wanted to use it against Siobhan.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. You
Against
just, like,
me? Why
you
would you do
sneak
that?
it onto the body, just
Yep.
yeah, you outfit it as you see it gather itself and look you dead in the eye, and shoots out a spore right in your face. Doesn't know what to do with this that you gave it.
Yeah.
But go ahead and give me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, that's good. 17 plus 6. 23.
Cool. This is the second time you've kind of taken it, and you immediately know to, like, okay, holding breath as it kind of dies out. Let's see if this... Okay. This fully wakes up Gutter out of his, like, just out of his own trance. Because... It just goes and, like, goes over to the thing, takes the needle out of its hand, throws it on the ground, just starts kind of yelling at him.
Oh.
To which, Gwen, I don't know how long your, is it just an hour, the Comprehend Languages?
Comprehend Languages is an hour.
Yeah, cool. At this point, you hear like the subtle sort of like vibrating sort of sound, like that's kind of coming out almost like in a Morse code like sort of way to it.
Yeah.
And you see Gutter just turn up and look up at you, Alistair.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to help him out. I'm just a friend. I'm sorry, Gutter.
Roll a persuasion check.
I don't think I have a plus in anything. Nope. 15.
Can I give him the help action? Oh, I guess. Well, either way, I would have given you the help action, because when I see that, all I'm doing is just flying over and standing kind of behind and near Alistair. Like when that happens, when Gutter goes over, I just kind of fly over and just kind of land close to it, so he can see that I'm, this person's friend.
Okay. I'll say that definitely helps. I think with the we'll take the 15 though. The goblinoid creature is just staring at you, grabs the bloom, and like roughly grabs him. As he's kind of like being carted away in this little dress that he's now wearing, just kind of like floating in there, and then is brought to the other end of the fire and just plopped down in front of him. And now he's just kind of like laying down on the ground, just staring at him, and they're just both talking.
Nalani's sitting there, just taking it all in and thinking, and is truly curious. Joe, DM, is truly curious. He wants to concentrate as hard as he can and focus on the bloom and cast Verdure, and which has an effect on non-magical plants. Nalani really truly doesn't know if this is a plant or an animal or what it is, and he wants to cast that on him and try to basically make him, he can repair a scar or an injury in a plant. He wants to bring him back to health if he can.
Okay, cool. I think this is moving outside of the cantrip, but I like the
it's
certainly
pure
like game breaking,
curiosity.
and I like,
he has
and I
no
like the
clue.
creativity of it. Yeah, go ahead and roll me a roll me a d20 and add your wisdom modifier.
That's just gonna be. That's good. It's a 16 plus a wisdom. It's an 18.
18. Nice. With an 18, you see this, which I believe the one that you grabbed was like the long-necked sort of one, right? Alistair?
Mm-hmm.
Do we know?
Yes.
I don't.
Okay.
Was it?
Cool. Yeah. So the long neck one, you see, as it's talking, you all of a sudden just see another like leaf just like shoot out of its neck. It's like, poof. And you see both of them kind of like seem surprised at that and like are like looking around. They have no concept of what happened. You see, I gotta roll for. Okay, yeah, not one. Cool. Yeah, you guys are fucking with his family. You see Gutter just kind of like grabs the one roughly and just starts yelling at all of you in like this random sort of like gibberish speech of.
Yeah, maybe we stop interfering right now.
And then turns, looks at the bloom, says something to it, and then punts it out of the like looks like cartoon looks like it flew 20 feet away.
Cool.
I think Nolani, if anyone is looking at Nolani, and I don't know that anyone would have caught that, he's got a startled look on his face, like a little bit confused of what he was able to do, and specifically looks at Alistair. So if Alistair is looking at Nolani, they catch eyes. If not, they don't.
Muted.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, I saw you cast the spell. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely. I mean, that's a new trick.
I think Nolani kind of looks at him with this like look of like a kid looking at an adult or mentor, like, huh, like how'd I do that? What? Like I'm confused.
Yeah, he just starts rifling through his bag, seeing what else he's got in there. That's.
Jorri walks past Nolani towards Gutter, walks up, and just goes, "Hey, we're really sorry," and just tries to body language that as much as possible. You know, I don't know exactly how much he understands of Common or whether, you know, again, but Jorri is trying to make an apology.
Okay. You said body language. Tell me, what sort of body language do you do to try to make yourself seem sorry?
He does like a deep bow. I think he kind of, it might even be more of a cultural kind of, so I think, yeah, he like bends over and puts his fist kind of to his face as he bends over and makes himself a bit smaller.
Okay, cool. You see Gutter turn and bow to you in a similar manner, and immediately jumps on you. He like at first it's concerning, as you see him like start to like he's not like necessarily like punching you. He's like driving his like elbow into your side. It takes about a good solid maybe 3 seconds before you realize like he's wrestling you.
Yeah, I mean, I am all about it, and I will go. Yeah. I will absolutely wrestle him back.
You got it. I think like in a weird moment, there's a point where you guys just roll a little bit away from the group and are just starting to just beat the crap out of each other.
Guys, just real quick before.
Sorry, it's such a funny like just a transition of that happening and then
just in the background still while you're doing this.
Yeah, it's like rolling around all of you guys. Yeah.
While he's busy, we haven't really thought about what we're doing with the 14-year-old fairy when we're done with this. Whatever this is.
Well, if we get my daughter back, then he will have a home in Eriscar if he chooses to stay with us.
I'm sorry. I just when you get Maeve back, or you're going back to you're are you going back to Eriscar then?
I have people there who will watch her and care for her. They would happily take Jorri in and provide him a life. And I think I have some crimes to answer for there. So yes, I would go back to Eriscar.
Um,
Make sure she's cared for and then do what needs to be done.
and what about the rest? What were the rest of you gonna do? I thought we talked about going to like Azamari and maybe Hasamal. So I mean, are you
That would be on the way back to Eriscar. In
okay?
theory.
So like, as soon as we get Maeve, you're not leaving then, right?
I'm not bringing my 7-year-old daughter to Hasamal or Azamari, if that's what you're asking. Or 14, or however old she is by the time we finally get to her.
No, I'm completely understand. I'm just confused because you were gonna go back to Eris or Gwen, am I? And then, but you said Hasamal and Azamari too.
I think that there's too many variables to say for sure where we're going to end up. We can only plan in advance a little bit. The future is one of those things that could have 12 different paths, 12 different answers.
And I'm gonna have to go to
Yeah,
the
I mean-
Feywilds to get her, and I'm not asking any of you to come with me because we already know she's lost so much time. I could go and get her and then come back and it's been 60, 70 years here. But you guys have families. So I won't ask you to come, but if you come with me, I would appreciate all the help.
Okay, but
Just
But in
consider
all
the
those-
cost to yourselves.
okay, yeah, but in all those variables that you were talking about, how many of those are we all in, and how many of them's just like you? I'm just curious. I'm sorry.
No, I think this is one of those things that doesn't have an answer. I know you don't like to hear that, but
Okay, well, I mean, I can take Jorri then if you guys don't want to. That's fine. I mean, I think Jorri and I
I
can.
think that Jorri would have a safe place if he comes at Eriscar with me. And you guys,
guys-
hopefully.
kind of lean and look past you at where he is play fighting another goblin, and I'm assuming at this point blood's probably been drawn. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
really, I really don't think that he's kind of settled down in Eriscar.
So you want to take him back to the place where he was traded as a
I
slave in the
think
fighting pits?
I might
Conversation
have an answer
have-
for. I might have an answer for that, but so I don't know if I told you Gwen and you Al, but kind of have a special someone, and she's part of one of them nature magic clan, whatchamacallit, a druid. They I don't know, little man might want to learn some more magic. And I mean, you usually don't hear druids getting into too many hairy adventures, even though she is kind of in Hasamal herself. And Well, but that's personal matter. So I'm just thinking, if he doesn't want to settle down, maybe he can come with me and meet Eris and whatnot.
So that's one of those variables where it's just like a couple of you, or not all together, right?
I,
That's
hey, here's the thing: we can be. I'm all for it. It's just,
okay, but you didn't say that. You have someone
well,
special that you're.
well, yeah, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to say y'all are just gonna come along with me as I gallivant across the natural world after I'm all settled doing what I'm doing. So, I mean, you guys are all welcome to come if you'd like. I mean, I'm sure Nene probably gonna join me. Uh,
And I'm hoping that it won't be too much longer before I can help us travel a lot faster than we have been.
yeah. Can you wait? Do you think your special guy will help you teleport or something?
I mean, haven't talked that far in advance, but if part of my responsibilities to him is to gather information, being able to do that
That's
faster would
you.
be beneficial for more than just.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a very weird thought, but you'd think if since he wants you to gather information for him, that'd be like the first thing he gave you.
I think even with that being the case, I think there's still limitations as to what I'm capable of right now.
Okay, yeah. That's very fair. Very fair.
You know,
Uh,
I think we should go back to something I think Alistair was kind of questioning. You know, we all have our own personal things we need to find out, and we're kind of putting them on hold for the most urgent ones, working together as a group. It seems as though it might make sense for a agreement of sorts to reciprocate in solving each other's problems rather than just kind of departing after yours is taken care of. Is that kind of what you're getting at, Alistair?
No.
Or are you just concerned about being left alone?
I just
I
was.
was I was watching Alistair as he's saying this. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but
I,
yeah.
um. It is something I'm accustomed to. I wouldn't say I would be worried about being alone.
Jorri walks up at this point, uh, wipes a little bit of blood off his mouth, and just kind of spits a gob of blood down. You guys are all looking at this the wrong way. It's not a, it's not a transaction. It's not okay. Well, we'll go help Siobhan, and we'll find Maeve, and then because we did that, then well, you got to do my thing. Does anybody think that way? Is that really what you guys think? I don't know. I don't think you guys were listening. You guys don't have a choice. You're gonna be a group. Like this is how many people do you think found a disappearing magical house that travels through time and went inside their friend's head? You think a lot of people do that? And then the next day, you all got attacked by sea monsters on your first day of a voyage. It'll be more fun if you all pretend, even if you don't believe, that this is like someone said, a family, a party, a band. We're gonna be together. And I was the last person to join, so I didn't want to push that and say it. But when Alistair asks, so what are you going to do afterwards? We'll find something to do. We'll have a next thing. And of course, Maeve is a kid, so, you know, we don't want to necessarily have put a kid in danger. But, you know, when we figure that out, then we'll do the next thing. I think if you guys talked about that and like said it, you'd feel better. And if you believed it, you'd feel better. We're not on an errand. You know, this is clearly something. At least that's what I believe.
Hey, so I think we're all a little confused here. I fully thought we were all on the same page that for the long term, I'm thinking this is probably going to be it's probably going to take years, just our own personal problems type thing. I was pretty sure we were all on board for that. Um, and I mean, if little man is exactly right, I was trying to say I have no problem with us essentially being a part of each other's lives for, I mean, kind of eternity. I mean, some of y'all, at least 3 of y'all have literally saved my life. So there's some of them cultures that have what do they call them, life debts. I mean, I owe 3 of y'all that already. So okay, yeah. How about after we wrap this up, after we get Shiv's kid back, um, Gwen gets her whatever information she needs for her patron. We get Dr. K, achieve all the mysteries of the universe, what have you. Find out what the hell's going on with Nene's box and make him a master mage. And lastly, but certainly not least, kill my patron. That's gonna have to happen some kind of way. I say, how about first thing we do after all of that? Y'all come down home to mine. I'll introduce y'all to. I'll even make sure Eris is there too. Y'all can meet my folks all down in my hometown. Have a little bit of jambalaya and kick back and tell stories about the best parts of our adventures. Then the next person can make the next destination.
Sometimes it helps to say it out loud. Thanks, Io. Can we?
Sometimes it
Do you all want to be with each other?
Yeah, sometimes it helps to.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes
well, that's all there is.
Sometimes it helps to say what you want, not what you need. He says this looking at Alistar. I know you don't need other people, but it's okay to want other people.
Okay.
Damn fine words.
I thought I was asking everyone what their plans were. I mean, you're all gonna leave eventually, and that's fine. But we're here. We're here now, and that is good news.
It's just a hard question to answer. Because if I get my daughter back, I've already lost so many years. I don't know if I want to lose any more time on the road. I want to help you guys, yes, but I want to raise my kid.
I think right now we're stuck together for better or worse. And I like it that way.
Hell yeah.
But Tara has a point, especially for Dave, who hasn't had a say in any of this.
Mm.
And sometimes you have to consider that. There's other people that your wants might have to take a back burner.
Though, I got a little silver lining to add to that. Shiv has to raise her kid. Solid. Um, that just means it's a not yet instead of a never.
And just
We might.
because, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say we might have times where we split up, but if we really are fate bound, we always gonna find a way back together.
We did.
Hell yeah.
Also, Alistair, I'm sorry I yelled at you. It just seemed like that was kind of the thing, and I was scared because I felt like you almost got eaten by the ocean, and I didn't know why, and I feel like it wasn't great. And also, I think there's lots of people who probably would want to kiss you. It's not me, but I'm just saying a lot of people said that that's not a thing, and I think probably, there's probably lots of people out there that would kiss you.
I was batting them away at the Ludus, Jorri.
Siobhan looks at Gwen.
Gwen looks like she agrees with Jorri.
But thank you. The shell. It's unimportant how it ended up in the ocean, but now I'm sorry. Gwen, you saw when I handed it to Io. You said something about it looked like a heart, like a beating heart. And
Did I? I've said a lot of things these past few hours.
you did, and I'm really sorry about that. But so you said that, and then the night before, when we were in the battle, the ship it was glowing green with like necromantic energy, but it wasn't like bad. It was just the energy, and the woman on the mast, or the figurehead, she wasn't a woman anymore, and she had moved, and that's why I asked you to go look at it. And I was thinking, I think the shell is the heart of the ship. Yes, the shell is the heart of the ship. You need to take the shell back to the ship, but the cave is also connected. So, and maybe Gutter, who, yeah, and
The mark on Gutter's head, does it seem more like it's drawn on, not like a tattoo or anything? Or is it a tattoo?
Well, first off, as you mentioned Gutter, you hear this, "Wah!" and you see that Gutter has taken a second to catch his breath as Jorri has taken his moment to be able to say that, and is now fully just leapt on Yori's back. Giving you a second to be able to look at it again. It looks like it... Glad you guys like that. Man, it would have sucked if you guys could have totally went the other way with Gutter, so thank you.
I love it.
You get a second look, and you see that it looks like it has been painted on, like with a thumb.
Okay. Does it look like it's been like worn off and reapplied over time? Does it look fresh?
Probably worn off and reapplied. Yeah.
Does it look anything like the flag that I saw in the distance from the top of the crow's nest?
No. It does not.
I mean, it's possible that we remember, like, I'm remembering Jessica from last time. Gutter had a very like visceral reaction to our mentioning the cave, right? He frightened of it.
Does not want us to go there.
Not want us to go there.
Yeah, he seemed to be like I would say, like, now that because this happened before a couple other things happened, I think. There's a part of him that definitely is afraid of the cave, but there's anyone who is just because you're afraid of something doesn't mean you would paint a version of what you've seen on your head, right? So there's definitely something on the idea that he's afraid of it, but also is respectful of it.
That's where I was going.
So,
Yeah. So I think Gwen would say, without really seeing the cave or knowing what's there, whatever the connection is to Gutter, to the shell, it's hard to say which came first, but Gutter seems to have some sort of respect and fear of this cave. Which if we're going under the assumption that he crashed here on this ship, he's not from this island. So the fact that he's connected somehow, I don't know yet, but we'll figure it out.
I think it's a problem we face in the morning once we've
Oh, yeah.
been well rested and
Don't want to go there when everything still looks like rivers of blood.
Also, y'all, adding to that, listening to the fact that Gutter is afraid of that thing. I mean, I know we just met him, but let's put ourselves into some small degree of caution going into this thing. Here's my stipulation. One of us goes down, we get out.
No.
Above board.
You mean we?
Above board, did Jorri tell us about the basilisk?
No.
Yes,
What's with
he
you
did.
in names?
so
and
many
Basilisk.
words.
Jorri.
So
words
many
in
did
a
tell us
different-
about the basilisk.
Basilisk.
Also, Mitch, for the love of God, can you put your head in the square, please?
It's been a long week.
He's
I'm
going to
slack
sleep.
I respect it fully. I understand, but you and Dan, oh my gosh, full-time job. What was the question?
I can't say the word.
did Jorri tell
Jorri-
us about the basilisk?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, like
Yeah,
the
very
first thing he
vaguely,
said.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I bought a basilisk. Yeah, no one
Okay,
really brought.
thank
but
you. Thank you. So,
Also, Gutter reacted to the word basilisk too, didn't he?
yeah.
Yes.
So I think
Mhm.
Nolani's,
He did, yes.
Nolani's gonna be like, do I remember that? Say the word, please, Siobhan.
Basilisk?
Live in dark places like caves. Is that like a thing?
I'm gonna say.
I know Nolani said that to the group.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I don't think there's a way that you would know that.
Oh,
Siobhan's
Is that
still
an animal
staring
that
at
we
Alistair
would've
when he
studied?
said no.
Yeah. No.
And
Okay, hold on. So there's two separate conversations going on.
Yeah, we got
So let's handle the basilisk first, and then we'll go back to when to what, because I have a feeling that's not necessarily what even Io meant. So let's handle the basilisk thing first. Actually, Alistair, I mean, unless you think that you're not paying attention to this conversation, you can roll a history check. I would say, actually, honestly, Gwen, also roll a history check. This is something that you want to be prepared for.
disadvantage.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Is it history you said?
Yeah, history or nature.
would this not have been something I would have studied too?
Not necessarily. I'll allow you to roll for it, though.
Okay.
That is just a 12. Disadvantage.
So I have one
15.
final use of Flash
15.
of Genius.
Mhm.
So I will say, based off the roll, Alistair knew immediately, but he watched Gwen to see if she was catching on, and if you could see magic, you would see little tendrils of magic kind of massage her scalp until I can see she gets the answer. So +5, that puts you at a 17.
Okay.
And Alistair's going to keep his mouth shut. But internally, Alistair rolled a 28.
And I got a 15.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Artificers.
I rolled a 3 for insight, so she does not notice.
Fantastic. Gwyn, you feel like you're in a space of there's maybe a worriedness initially on being asked that question in the group and recognizing I should know this. There's dangers in excavating sort of things, and I know that basilisks have been one of those things that have been thrown around a lot. Man, I think they're under, and then all of a sudden, like, it just seems to come to you. So you know that basilisks are often found. It is a tricky word. I'm going to say that basilisk. It is a. They vary in where they live. Some of them have been known to live in temperate climates, tropical climates. Those are less known, as North Imea is not particularly a very tropical climate, except for Celeste, and then obviously the island that you're currently on. The arid climate basilisks, you know particularly pretty well. I don't know if you've necessarily encountered any of them, but you've seen the effects of various small, like, desert creatures that are turned into, like, a sandstone. And then you've seen bits and chunks taken out of them. And with the party that you were with, essentially went, okay, cool. We're gonna come back here later, until we see less of those things. But you know that for the most part, they typically live underground or in cave-like places. They're normally what's the word? What's the opposite of, like, they don't hunt in packs. They usually
Solitary hunters.
Predators.
Yeah. If they exist in families, they exist in families until they absolutely don't need to anymore.
Sure.
But I will say, just a small little thing on this, that is the ones that you know from the arid climates. It would not be surprising to know that tropical climate ones exist in a slightly different viewpoint. Also, above board, we know that the one that Jorri saw was larger than a standard one.
Right. So she'll pass that information along, and then just say it would probably be a good idea to be prepared for that and any other. This is an unknown place that we will be going to. So it could be basilisks, or it could be something nobody's ever seen before.
Hence why I said if things get especially hairy, cut and run. We got a little too much to lose if any one of us dies. That's a price I'm not willing to pay.
I think there's a point of clarification on that. Are you saying if one of us goes, we run and leave the other one?
No, if one of us
You
goes
hear how
down,
that's how that sounds, though, right? That's
Yeah,
that's
that was, I think, what
I
people picked
guess,
up
yeah. That wasn't my intent.
Oh, good.
So
I mean,
if
pick
one
that
of us
person
goes
up and
down,
leave with them.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not. Again, Gwen would know better than me, but I feel like there's usually signs of basilisk. We would know if we were nearing one.
Yeah, and it sounds like Jorri found some on the mountain
I
already.
think they like to carve statues.
I feel like they should be bascali if there's more than one, shouldn't there? I mean, is it basiliskises or bascali?
I think it might be one of the
misplacing the K.
here that it's, singular and plural the
What
same.
do you think, Jorri? Bascali? Basilisk? If there's more than one, what do you think it is?
At this point, Jorri, while holding Gutter, falls from the sky, like straight up, like, had jumped up and kind of. I think it's basilisk and basilisks.
Gotcha.
For the record, Gunner is surprisingly strong, +2 strength, which is not at your level, but is something that becomes there's a little bit of a challenge here.
I mean, he was doing 30 damage to people, so there's at least that.
Yeah.
In your carved statues, those used to be creatures like us. We turned them into
Oh yeah. It's a good thing I didn't look back.
we need to be, if we do run into them, try not to meet their gaze.
Anyone know how to fight blind?
Sorry, just because ADD, Alistair too. Where'd the plant go? Is the little bloom still? Did he punt it 20 feet? Is it just chilling there?
Gone. Long
Oh,
gone.
okay.
I mean, if you want to go looking for it, you could, but
No,
it
I don't
seemed. I'll say this actually. This is something that I think is going to be important. I think for Alistair to kind of recognize. Alistair, are you looking around at the other blooms?
Yeah, I mean, I would be looking for him, yeah, or the she.
Right. Yeah. You see a bloom seem to like go down. I would say it's kind of like far off in the corner. No one else is really seeing it. You're only seeing it because you're specifically kind of like looking for it. And it seems like it starts to just kind of like go slower and then just kind of like fall down to the ground. You see other blooms sort of go over to it, and you're far enough away that you can't hear anything. But I would like you to give me a nature check.
19?
19? Yeah. They're eating that dead one. These guys are... you get the feeling that these creatures don't live for very long, and their remains are what gives the rest of them sustenance. This is a nature sort of like factor to it, as as the concept of a plant being able to get up and move around, right? How long do plants exist? Most of them don't. Most of them don't exist for very long. There's a part of you that actually sees this, and I'm curious what Alistair thinks of that. For the for the average, the average person seeing the very cute thing falling down, and all the rest of them kind of like going over and like cannibalizing their friend. Gross and disturbing, right? For Alistair, what does Alistair think of it?
I think he absolutely initially just reads this as this is just the way it is for this particular group.
Yeah.
Like they're not upset about it. The other one didn't seem like he was scared. So
yeah,
I think he's watching it. But yeah.
So I'd say there's probably a good chance that there's most likely, if you look around in that general vicinity, maybe the next morning, you would find the remains. You'd find the wyvern hide.
There would also be a very slow turn. The Jorri gutter fight going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any like playful nipping from Gutter?
From Gutter?
I mean, he's lived with these things for how long? He's never really been around anything like himself.
Hold on.
Does he think he's going to eat one of us if we die?
Oh, I think those are two different things. So if you're asking if he's nipping at Jorri, yeah, I think so. He's using all the weapons that he has to his advantage. But as far as would he eat one of you guys if you dropped dead? I mean, if you die, you gonna care?
No, it's not. I mean, just an interesting thought.
That's what I know academically.
I do think we did establish, I don't know if this was specifically with Alistair, just in general to you guys, that there is definitely some goblin in this creature. Goblins have, at least in North America, goblins do have some cannibalistic tendencies. They wouldn't waste.
Yep. That's what Alistair's thinking about.
And that's what I'd want with my body. You know, use it. Get some use out of it.
Agreed. Agreed. Above board? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do something with it. I'm done.
Maybe I want a Jorri.
I'm glad I didn't freak out everyone in that
Oh.
statement.
Makes sense.
This is why only Alistair noticed this, so you can pretend that your character doesn't know this.
Cool. Just so we're definitely going in the cave, right? I mean, Gwen, I don't even know if we'll be able to find this island again.
I would like to say that I would be willing to make the sacrifice for the good of the group to not go in the cave, but I am not that good a person.
Yep.
I do think that we should at least get some of this back to the ship so that it can be started to be worked on. But that is why we have crew members.
It's in the crew, just like awkwardly standing back.
Yep.
They're 20 feet away in the dark, just huddled around each other for warmth.
I feel
Hey,
like they're
gang.
around the campfire too, and she does not.
There's too many
Besides
NPCs for me to make interesting for you all. So yes, when you need Gruff to do something, he's there. Otherwise, he disappears in the blankness of space.
Yeah.
I feel like it might be appropriate if Hooks was kind of sitting in the corner, and every once in a while, one of the little creatures came up and nipped at his wooden leg, and he brushed him off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. Along with the background, you see Fingers every 10 minutes. Fingers has to get up and move to a different area as the blooms start to follow him.
Nice.
No.
But yes, if nobody has any strong objections, I would at least like to look at this cave.
Well, and
Go with the
when I was in the crow's nest, I also noticed and I point in the direction that it is. There's a flag somewhere over there.
This island has everything.
And at some point we might want to check that out.
Is that the direction of our ship, or is it a different direction?
Inland.
Oh, so it's a.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like one of them storybooks, isn't it?
Well, we're not going to get anywhere without taking a rest first.
No, we should sleep. Some of you should sleep. We should rest.
I'll
Half
take the
of
next 10 minutes and put up the tiny hut. Everybody get
Fit
close.
all of the NPCs and
Nope, they don't get in.
You do see Fingers try desperately to get in there.
oh,
Oh, buddy. It can fit up to 10. There's only 6 of us.
It sure can.
It sure can.
very, very
Only
cuddly pen.
Fingers' wooden legs make it in. His top half is on the outside. So,
He's fine with this. He's fine with this. There's no way he's
That
not okay
works.
with
I
it.
love it.
Is Gutter in or out? Because I feel like this could be extremely confusing for him.
Yeah,
I think-
don't think Gutter goes in the tiny hut.
Right. I think it would be like, at least to me, like if he tried to come in, that's up to Alistair at that point, whether like he, sets that barrier or not. But yeah, if he doesn't, I think he understands other people have to sleep and stuff. And I think we just sort of our emotions. Yeah, we're going in. This is where we sleep safe. No. It's
Yeah,
safe
that's
in
good.
here.
Yeah, with you. Keep it out. You gotta go. Keep.
Yeah. Yeah? Yeah.
Knocks his nose back into place. Dad, keep it.
Yeah.
Siobhan's gonna curl up and go to sleep.
Okay, you get it. Cool. You see, as you say yeah several times, you see he just crawls up to the crow's nest. You see he actually like, you know, I think all of you kind of get a perspective now at this point, that he doesn't sleep up there. So there's a point where I think there's probably like I think especially for Jorri, there's like a kind of confusion sort of point to that, and then recognizing that he's looking out for you guys. He's decided that he's going to take first watch.
Mm-hmm.
And if he falls asleep up there, he falls asleep up there. Cool. Before we call it tonight, I know that Siobhan, you said that you did want to talk to Mask. Do you want to do that tonight?
Alistair wanted to talk to Mask.
Yeah.
That's right. So did you guys want to do that tonight?
Yeah.
It's up to Alistair, yeah.
Okay.
100%. So is your guy around?
You could call him Mask, or my God, they're a shapeshifter, so calling him my guy, a little weird.
I
Number
can
one,
take the
'cause
form of your guy if
God?
that helps.
Okay, he said guy's fine.
Okay. Turn it to Carter.
What did you want to ask?
So sorry, Mask. I guess it's kind of for both of you, but is he? It's what is she always there?
This is new. Before the ship, I only saw them in the mirror at the inn and then in the cave.
I've been with you since the cave.
I
Just chose to make myself appear to you once I saw how faithful you were.
he said he has been with me this whole time.
Do they speak with the other? Is he? Are they a god? Is that really? Are they a god?
In what is what now, keeping in mind that Mask has not had a lot of experience with Alistair besides the experience that he's had since the cave with you guys. What is this guy's? Is
I
he?
think it's
Why is he asking?
well, maybe because the others have their patrons, and patrons are questionable whether they're gods. He's a god, Alistair.
Well, for the record, you can tell him that gods don't really worry too much about them being gods. But yes, I'm a god.
He said gods don't really worry about that stuff.
So they know that because they speak with the other gods. Do they call themselves gods?
Is there someone he wants me to contact?
Is there someone you want to talk to? Another god you want to talk to?
I mean, frankly, I'd like to talk to all of them. but I was just
Be careful what you wish for.
Do they have limits on what they can do? Did they just come into being? I'm. Does he hear anything I'm saying?
He hears everything you're saying.
Okay, but you're not answering. And
Well, he hasn't responded to your last question. 1 second.
There's a knowledge that your friend is wanting that I think ask him if he has anything that he's been obsessed with. Maybe even feeling like addicted to. Feel free to use your own words.
He said, be careful what you wish for. And he has a question for you as well. Is there anything you've been obsessed with in your life? Truly obsessed with?
yeah, yes, I think that's yes. Obsession is a very strong word, but yes.
What?
Did he ask what, or are you asking what? Are you really? Okay, I know he's there. I saw him. Who? Magic? Where it came from, what it is, how it works, everything about it. You can't. It's a puzzle, and it's wrong, and what we're doing, and there's more to it. I know there is. There has to be, because you exist, and the others exist that Gwen and I talked to. That's different than what we know.
There's a razor thin line that separates the noble pursuit of a thing and an obsession. It's clear to me that your friend here is someone who is born to pursue these things. You don't need to tell him this, as I don't know what it's like to be mortal. I've seen people of your nature become powerful beyond any measure of anything else in any mortal realm. It doesn't even begin to strike the surface of the gods. Be careful. Pursue and learn But I get a feeling with this one, and he maneuvers himself to now kind of floating behind Alistair. I get the feeling that this one is pretty good at losing himself in that.
Alistair. From what he says, even the most powerful mortals that have walked this land have not even scratched the surface of the power of the gods. Don't lose yourself in the pursuit of it.
Alistair, give me a wisdom saving throw.
13 plus 14.
Siobhan, you can choose how to... This is the DM talking. Siobhan, you can choose how to phrase this, as it would not be surprising for Siobhan to know Alina's name. And to be honest, you're not entirely sure what Mask knows of you and doesn't. So there's a possibility that Mask might have gotten this from your memory banks. But I think there's some part of you that knows that that's not true, as you see Carter put a hand on Alistair's shoulder and just says Alina wouldn't want you to.
There are people who need you more than you need the magic and the power. Don't forget that. You are what's of value. Don't lose sight of that.
Alistair, on your side, you feel there's something in the back of your mind, but more so where you imagine your heart to be. I'm trying to separate the two because I think they're two very different things in Alistair's psyche. You can choose to reach for it if you would like, or you can choose to move against it if you want. It's up to you. You feel that the thing that is pulling you towards the heart feels alien, feels with the extremely limited understanding and knowledge you have of deities, it feels holy, for lack of a better word. So you do know where this comes from.
I heard powerful mortals still weren't able to reach the power of deities, and that was a challenge. So I think I lean into that.
Okay. In saying that you're wanting to move away from the.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, Carter has a hand on Alistair's shoulder and then takes it off, looks at you, and says, "Maybe just more time."
Is there anything else, Alistair?
No, thank you. I really do appreciate it. It was. Please let them know I'm sorry if I took their time.
Anytime.
As you see Alistair walk off, there's a part of Mask. Yeah, okay. There's a part of Mask that. Actually, I would like Siobhan to roll me a religion check.
It's a 13.
Okay. With a 13, there's nothing that you caught in that conversation that was particularly interesting past more than what you already know, I don't think. A lot of like reassurance, I think. But one thing that you do notice is that Mask changes again, and at this point it doesn't seem like you're not entirely sure. I think it would be safe to assume that Mask changes when they want to, so you're not entirely sure what the reasoning is here. But as Alistair walks away back to the tiny hut, you see Mask turns into Alina and stares at him as he's walking away. Looks back at you. Immediately switches back to Carter. You okay?
Yeah, of course. I think he's trying. But I think you're right, it'll take time.
You know what I said about mortals not being able to scratch the surface of gods?
Mm-hmm.
He needed to hear that.
Yes.
But that's a lie. You can't ever know that.
He would get himself killed if he knew that. And I won't be the one to lead him down that path.
Well, you should get some sleep.
I want to check in on an old friend first.
Okay.
She's gonna make her way back to the tiny hut and just look at Gwen and be like, pull out the mask. And I just want to check up on somebody if you could watch me for 10 minutes. It's not anyone dangerous. It's not a mirror or Maeve. But if you could just watch me for 10 minutes.
Of course.
She's going to lay back and put the mask on. Thinking of Hadrian.
Try this one. I would like a... I'm gonna say I'd like a roll using your spellcasting modifier.
Is 21.
Cool. You see mask. You put the mask on and you feel hands kind of covering your eyes. As they slip away, you see a crowded street. People bustling to and fro. You notice that there is a slight part, or almost like a separation. Everybody seems to be about 10 feet back from you. You take a look left and see that there is someone beside you that looks to be a bodyguard of some sort. And you see the figure looks, you, as assumingly being Hadrian, looks up at a marketplace that is kind of in a sort of like small like divot into the town itself. Something that looks fairly familiar to you. Years ago, there was a park that was like kind of made as like a sort of like a municipal sort of like park that was like in front of a very large courthouse, and over time, and no one really knows exactly what happened, but for some reason, one day that park seemed to have kind of caved in, leaving a space that is just about maybe like 3 feet sunken in. And since then, everybody's just used that as a marketplace. The courthouse has been long done away with, separated into small little like housing units that someone took over and said that I'm the landlord, and then just basically ended up making these hovels for people to be able to kind of stay in and charge whatever they want. As we're kind of venturing through the crowds, there's a point where you stop and notice a particularly interesting necklace. bright blue sapphire. You pick it up and you can see the sapphire itself seems to almost match your skin perfectly. You kind of close your very carefully manicured hands around it and look up at the figure that seems to be the shopkeeper selling it. Older woman, most likely human, kind of a very much like a sun-kissed face. You can see like hair has been put up into a sort of like I forget the word for it, but it's like not a bonnet, but and seems to be kind of like coming out the sides. You see her looking at you with a scared expression. In this moment, you've heard what you've used with mass before. You've been able to hear conversations and things like that. You get the feeling that this is a varying sort of scale, dependent upon factors that are beyond your point of understanding, honestly. But it's not surprising that you actually feel like the muscles in your face sort of moving in the idea that you are saying something, and you see the woman lets out a noticeable sigh and a very big smile. You see a tear forms in her eye as you put down a platinum piece onto the table. She stares down at it and looks back up at you, just in shock. You feel your hand come up as you must be wearing a hat because you're tipping it to her, and you start to walk away. There's a point in this scene where, and it's just at this moment, where you have a choice. You can continue to follow Hadrian's viewpoint, or you can look behind Hadrian.
Let's look. I only saw the bodyguard with him, right?
Correct.
So far? Let's look
So far.
behind.
Okay. As you look behind you, all of a sudden take the place of the bodyguard's sort of perspective. As the bodyguard looks back to another bodyguard that seems to be tailing about 10 feet back. You feel your head nod as the bodyguard walks over to that same desk, puts a hand out. You see a conversation, and you see the platinum is put back into the bodyguard's hand. You see a coin is flipped to the is kind of like nonchalantly flipped to her, clearly not a platinum. As you see the bodyguard kind of takes it and continues on moving forward. You hear the sound of children laughing as you feel yourself kind of being pulled back into Hadrian's sort of perspective. I'm going to say on this, because of the sound of children's laughter, I would like you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oof. 7.
Okay. You see your vision start to glitch out as you see Hadrian is nearing a group of kids who are playing some sort of game involving almost looks like hockey in a way, except that it looks like it's just being played with sticks and a ball. And you see him kind of approaching those kids, but you can hear the laughter, and there's points where you start to see Maeve's face, and things start to glitch out. You see it just almost like a bad TV connection going back and forth. And you hear a voice in your head that says, "It's probably enough." You recognize the voice as the mask.
I think she's really mad just at the correlation of Hadrian and children. And she wants to make sure those children are safe.
Sure. If you want to push forward, you can.
She's going to
Take on
push
a cost.
forward.
Okay. You push forward and you see the group of children as Hadrian walks up. You see a couple of them stand to attention very quickly. Not in a realm of like they're hired or anything. It's something that is like, it's almost as if their parents told them that if he's around, you pay attention and stop whatever you're doing. Don't go near him. There, you almost see as a parent, you see the different sort of like things that were said as you see actually kids starting to kind of back up. You see one of the kids just drops their stick and turns and runs. You see him walking up to a specific child. This child has red hair. Similar to Jorri's, a little bit deeper in color, a little more red. You can see just the smallest representation of just tiny horns that are starting to grow out on the top of his head. You see his skin looks pale, ears pointed. You see the boy look up at you. It just says, "Time to go, Papa." And with that, you feel the pull being pulled back. Okay. Go ahead.
Did the child look reminiscent of another young half-elf tiefling that she helped kind of raise and bring into the life of crime when she first started with him? I'll message you.
We'll say while we're figuring out that, I'll just say, Streb, you just take 11 points of psychic damage.
Oh.
So casual.
If this
Before
is
the long rest? Yeah.
It's before the long rest, thankfully. I think so. I will confirm with you later, but yes, I believe we're on the same page.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Maybe not. We'll confer later. I'll say there's a reason why I'm not entirely sure this is who we're talking about. But yes, it does look to be familiar, at least in some context. You snap back out, and you are seeing Gwyn's eyes staring at you. Gwyn, you saw nothing from Siobhan. Actually, I'd say it like is something that kind of just seemed like it was, she probably put it on and seemed to have it on for like 10 seconds.
Sorry, I didn't know I was muted. Gwen just would sort of help you sit up, and just, you good? Not in a, of course you're good, you look fine sort of way, but just a questioning sort of way.
How pissed she is going to be based off of who this person looks like.
Okay. I think like at first right now I think you'd be more just confused. Like, cuz even if you suspected, you're not entirely sure.
Mm-hmm. I am fine.
All right.
I think I just need some sleep.
I think we all need sleep. But I also think that sometimes you don't have to be fine by yourself.
There's a lot we may or may not face in Dare's Wharf that well, I wanted to try and protect you guys from. But I don't think you guys will let me.
It's also not your job to protect us from things.
No, but I feel like I haven't made it clear enough the danger.
I'm
These
pretty
people
sure
follow you back. They can trace it back to your family. Your family could be in danger if we piss off the wrong people. And that's something I don't think a lot of you get.
I don't know if that's true. I think we're all smart enough, I think, to have drawn those conclusions and determined that what we're doing, this path we're taking, the consequences are not yours to shoulder alone. We have made these choices and we'll deal with them.
Siobhan, to answer your question, no.
Oh.
It would have been a stretch that you would have made this connection anyways, honestly.
Interesting. Anyway, that was Jessica.
Can I ask if I recognized any of the bodyguards? I have the body.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it's been, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been 8 years since you've left?
7 years, over 7
years?
years, yeah.
Over 7 years, okay, cool. One of them was definitely Asher.
Okay, yeah.
And I think, yeah, I think it was just Asher. Yeah, I would say probably, is it John Shy or Jan Shy?
John Shy.
John Shy. Probably John Shy. He's probably one. Asher's the one that's closest to him. John Shy would probably been the one that was kind of like stood like 10 feet back. I don't think Hadrian likes having him around when he's making rounds.
Not the most welcoming of visages. I am worried, obviously, clearly, about you guys and what is you're gonna face. I'm also really worried about me. That place was my home for most of my life. 20, well, really like 16 of my first 20 years. Maybe less. I'm bad at math. I didn't go to school. I don't know who I will become going back home to that place, or who I'll become when I see Hadrian again. It's really easy to hate him from afar, but part of me did love him blindly. And that's what almost got me killed the first time.
Would you say that you're blind now?
I hope not.
I don't think any of us can really say who will be if we have to go back home after having been gone and experiencing the world. You're not the same person who left. You're not the same person who almost died. And I don't think you're doing yourself any favors by questioning how strong you are. And you have us. And I don't think any of us are blind to the fact that you don't always tell us everything. So I think that we're variables you haven't had before when you've been in these situations.
That's for damn sure.
So
Alistair's gonna get his ass kicked in Dare's Wharf.
that could very well be true. But I think you also have to trust us to keep you safe the way that you want to keep us safe. Jorri was talking about transactional relationships earlier. I don't really think that that's what this is, but reciprocal, maybe.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that's what this is. I think I've tried pretty damn hard to make sure you guys knew the danger and get rid of you at some points, but here you are. Stranded on an island in the middle of the ocean.
Pretty cool.
It has its charms.
But we're not going to let you go in alone.
I know. I'll need that support. If anything, just to keep me in check.
Well, you know, if we can count on Alistair for anything to keep you in check.
I think in this situation, it would have to be you.
All right.
Alistair may lack the social foundations to pick up on what's going on.
All right. I will appoint myself your social guardian.
As you say that, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
As you say that, Siobhan, your mind travels back to something I didn't mention on here, but it was not really surprising that the amount of people that were around Hadrian taking their distance, the amount of people that smiled at him. You remember that and being next to him and feeling how great that felt. To be known but not known, to be loved but not understood.
I think perhaps I may have misjudged him too. Hadrian. Maybe he truly didn't know what happened to me. Maybe he could be a powerful ally. And he could get us all the resources we need to go to the Feywilds, go to the Nine Hells, whatever the hell we need. And part of me really hopes that he wasn't involved.
Gwyn, insight check. I'm going to say because you don't need to sleep, I'm going to say that in this realm you are no longer suffering the effects of seeing blood everywhere.
All right. Well then,
As fun as that is.
would it still be disadvantage though, or
No, I don't think
okay? So that's going to be a
so.
dirty
Actually, I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be advantage.
Oh, all right. Let's roll that. Okay, nope, the other one was better. But dirty 20.
Cool.
Roll the 19.
You heard Siobhan say two things in this instance of something where she was very scared of the situation that was going to happen with Hadrian and how much of a danger he may be. And then within a matter of a minute say, but he could be a powerful ally and maybe he doesn't know what he knows. And I think there's a part of you that recognizes a past relationship that your mother probably had, or you, either one, where you recognize that there is a poisonous thought that this could be poisonous.
Yeah. Really quick.
Not necessarily wrong, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Just the idea of how quickly that teetered.
Gotcha. I don't think she's going to say anything about that specifically. But I think what she will do is, does Chiffon wear a wedding ring still or anything like that?
Huh. I'm trying to think if that was something, like if we were well-to-do enough to purchase a wedding ring.
There's also the idea that too that if you were Kara, you would probably not be wearing a wedding ring.
Yeah.
True. If you're Kara right now.
I feel like it's probably stowed in the bag with the like doll and everything.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So I think what she'll say is just look at Kara and she's going to just say, sometimes looking to the past gets us in as much trouble as looking to the future. I think what we need to do is just take it moment by moment and not try to guess what might happen. Let's just gather information as we go and make our decisions from there. So we could sit here and speculate for an infinite number of hours and still not have any concrete answers.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. think I should probably go to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, you might want to check on the gutter up top to make sure he doesn't fall off the mast in his sleep at some point.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye. And distantly, you hear a hoot from Houston.
Good night.
Right.
You watch as Siobhan falls asleep, the same bedroll. You see everyone, the rest of you, the rest of your party all kind of do the same. Nalani, are you in here? You're muted.
Yeah, since Gutter's in the crow's nest, I think Nalani is in there in the corner, just kind of in a trance. In his elfin trance.
Cool. Awesome. Gwen, you hear you like kind of like send a message to Houston, and in that moment you hear a whoo, and then a very distant as you as the message gets conferred back however you want, in the idea that indeed Gutter was full on falling asleep up there. So roll a 5. Yeah. But I think there's a moment where Gwen looks at everyone that is sleeping or in trance, which is just Nalani. And there's a point where I think for Gwen, and correct me if I'm wrong, for someone who doesn't need to sleep, the hardest thing that you need to remember and take stock of is the idea that you, Gwen, need to figure out a way to be able to take a break. And how hard that is, knowing that you no longer have a biological design that tells you that. So what do you do during your break?
I think part of her really wants to start chronicling everything that has happened in the past few days. But there's another part of her that knows she does need just a break where she doesn't think about how to convey information in a way that Beatty wants her to. That doesn't, tries not to overthink too much everything that's happened with Alistair in the past few days. And so I think she still has the fairy tale book, I think, that Nalani had given her. And so I think she's just going, and that way in that even with books you've read before, there are some that are just like comfort reading and you can read them numerous times to sort of revisit them. I think she does that with this book. Not reading it for like studious thought or anything like that, just reading for enjoyment while she just tries to turn off her brain.
I love that. So I think as you're reading through the fairy tale book, I was going to offer you some insight on the idea of the choice that you have to make here. But you already made it, and I think that was the choice that makes the most sense to me. On the one hand, if you chose to categorize everything that Beatty would be interested in, you've had a lot of mental stress today. So I think even though you do not need to take a long rest physically, that would be not taking a long rest mentally.
And I feel like Gwen realizes that even without sleeping, like your brain needs the active like dreaming of turning itself off to sort of reset itself. So that I think is what she's trying to accomplish with this book. And especially fairy tales, I think, have always been an escape for her. So
Yeah.
that
The downside to this, to like your point, is that so if you were to chronicle everything on there, you would be making a Constitution saving throw and possibly taking a point of exhaustion because of that. You are now not in danger of doing that, but you are in danger of enraging your patron, who gave you the gift of not needing to sleep. And your patron, being a godlike being who does not understand the concept of rest, would be very hard to convince that even though you don't need to physically sleep anymore, what we just discussed, it would be very hard to convince that.
totally get it.
So I think you make a choice, and you make that consciously. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. I think as you do, I think you read a story. The story itself builds into 3 separate parts. It talks about the idea that there was a cloud in the sky over the world, having no care in it, as it is bereft of earthly qualms. The story separates into down below, the earth itself. Endless fire, tearing down things in its path that were natural and beautiful, temporary, but destroying a cycle of things. And the last thing you read of is the result of this fire as it burns down deep down into the Earth's core, turning into liquid magma, hardening into coal, and sitting beneath the Earth's surface for years and years. Until erosion and time passes, allowing that lump of coal to come to the surface and break out into the land. The bits of the coal break apart and move into the air, becoming part of the atmosphere. And inside that coal is a small diamond. It's a story that never really made any sense to you until now. It's one of those that has less pictures to it. Not that Gwyn needs pictures, but like it has less pictures to it. And the idea of a comfort sort of story, it requires a little bit more thought than you've really wanted in the past. But I'm going to read this actual poem of today's session to you now. And picture it as being Gwyn reading this from the book. Cloud, puffball, torn tufts, tossed pillows, flaunt forth, then chevy on an air. Built thoroughfare, heaven roisterers, and gay gangs they throng. They glitter in marches, down rough cast, down dazzling whitewash. Wherever an elm arches, shive lights and shadow tackle, in long lashes lace, lance, and pear. Delightfully the bright wind boisterous ropes, wrestles, beats earth bare. Of yester tempests creases, in pool and rut peel parches. Squandering ooze to squeezed dough, crust, dust. Stances, starches, squadron masks and man marks, treadmire toil there, foot fretted in it, million fueled. Nature's bonfire burns on, but quench her bonniest, dearest to her, her clearest selved spark. Man, how fast his fire dint, his mark on mind is gone. Both are in an unfathomable, all is an enormous dark, drowned. O pity and indignation, man shape that shone sheer off to several a star. Death blots black out, nor mark is any of him at all so stark. But vastness blurs, and time beats level. Enough, the resurrection, a heart's clarion. Away grief's gasping, joyless days dejection across my foundering deck shone. A beacon, an eternal beam. Flesh fade and mortal trash fall to the residuary worm. World's wildfire, leave but ash. In a flash and a trumpet crash, I am all at once what God is, since he was what I am. And this jack, joke, poor potsherd, patch, matchwood, immortal diamond, is immortal diamond. And with that, we're going to take our 10-minute break. I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. And we are back. So, bright and early the next day, you guys are up and at 'em for the most part. I'd say, Alistair, if you're looking for the remains of your wyvern's hide. You find it. I'm not going to make you lose that for that. You guys have a choice here. You haven't spoken to the captain for some time. So if you guys wanted to either take the... I think it's like another hour and a half journey to go back and talk to the captain before going. You can, or if someone wanted to message him, or you can say, "We'll see him when we see him."
I think this would be pretty hard to arrange, but
Hmm.
we could try to get Gutter to show Gruff where food is, which was the original purpose of us coming out here, to gather some food and stuff, so that Gruff might gather some food and bring it back. And Fingers obviously can carry at least 2 fruits.
3 kobolds.
If you tie them together, you can carry 4. I think. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So you're gonna use them to send them back in there. I'll say, do you want to send Zimmer, Zeter, Zephyr with that?
I would, but I feel like that's like an Alistair kind of has an interest in Zimmer Zeter. Yeah, like there's, I don't know. I feel like it's his call. But it's everybody's call. But, you know, I think Jorri would wait on Alistair as far as like suggesting that if that was the thing. So,
above table, I'm just trying to see how we can get as much done as possible and not need us involved. Because we need the ship mast back,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Yeah.
would be
So that's another thing. So I would say if you want to bring the ship mast back, and then say and then if you can, while we're doing what we're doing, if you guys can bring, say if you could bring most of the food, if you could hang it on the mast as you're trying to find a way to carry the mast back.
yeah,
That's going to be hard for 3 people to do, but
maybe like above board, just kind of going over it. Yeah, we should all do all the things we kind of need to do to go back to the ship, and then go, hey, by the way, we're going out to go to a cave. And also, the other thing I was kind of concerned about is whether or not we're taking Gutter. And then if we go to the ship, maybe we say, hey, like stay here at the ship, whatever. At least he's at the ship. But yeah.
I think
So-
it
Yeah.
was made clear last time Gutter's not going to let us go to that cave alone.
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
Gutter's going to be.
Countless
I
times.
would say, like, I'll put it this way: above board, Gutter would be more useful than anyone else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we keep Gutter
And
as
what
a
are we going to
guide.
do? Force him? Yeah.
I mean, he clearly has at least a rudimentary knowledge of this place, so having him along would be great. I think just in terms of checking boxes, I think if we all get together, it'd be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of us with Gutter. I think we could dismantle and carry that
Yeah.
mast at a normal-ish pace. Converse with the captain, and honestly, my question would be: do we want to bring the cleric along? Does the captain want to, or is that a no?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
bringing
sorry.
Boaz along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Traditionally,
No.
I would say Boaz most likely would probably stay with the ship,
Yep. he can stay with
especially
the ship.
knowing
Back
that
together.
there was a shipwreck that was here. Yeah.
Yeah. He can direct
Joe-
the fixing the mast.
Joe, before we leave, Nalani does want to do like an investigation check or some sort of check, because when we first approached, I believe it was described, it appeared as though there were shiny things strewn throughout, as if like inviting like a trap, almost to get something or someone to approach the ship.
So all of that was defined. We kind of handled that a little bit last session, but it was essentially there were like coins that were presented
Right.
on the ground, which actually also brings up a good point of like, what do you guys do with the gold that's there?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
But yeah, all of that has already been kind of
Yeah,
taken and accounted for. Some of them were just swords and things like that, not like magical swords, just straight up like there's a cutlass. So if you want to take one, you could.
Yeah, no. My question is more, or my observation would be, what like I'm making the assumption that Gutter had kind of set it out there as the trap. What was he trying to attract if he's the only shipwrecked entity here? Is Nalani's concern. That's
It
what
wouldn't be an investigation check as much as it would be trying to kind of, because I mean, the concept
see-
of, I hear what you're saying. You're asking what on the island would be attracted to shiny objects, and
Is
that's
there-
you don't have enough time in the day to do that.
There's
Right,
no
as opposed to just,
carcasses. There's nothing.
Oh no.
There's okay. So I guess in Nalani's head, clearly he was trying to attract something for some purpose, and I have no understanding of what or why.
You could ask him if you wanted to.
I think I'm gonna actually ask the group. Nalani's gonna at some point during this whole thing. Nalani's gonna say. So when we first arrived, he had, there were obviously traps set around this ship to attract something. Should we be concerned about that?
Are we sure there were traps, or I mean, a little man,
I mean,
maybe
you were there.
I know, but it seems like little man seems to vibe very well with him. So,
I mean,
It seems
Hey,
like he
yeah.
was trying to lure something or someone into the ship for some reason.
maybe that's the easiest way to catch food. Animals notice. I mean, I've heard birds kind of like shiny objects. Maybe it's a good way to catch a couple pheasants. Al?
Counter argument, maybe they were there to keep things away.
Or maybe it was something that he could attract or trap on his own, but with a group of our size, we don't need to be concerned about.
Also, yeah, I just think we're not going to really be able to find out. And maybe in a while, if he learns some common, we could ask him. But right now, I don't think there's much we can do about it except for gather it all up and put it on the big old plank and drag it back to the ship. Which
Actually, I can't really help you cut it down, so I will ritually cast the disc, and you can put all the gold on the disc, and it can follow us behind us.
how much weight can that hold?
500 pounds.
500 pounds.
It's probably be that. Also, like, what size is it? Yeah.
5 feet.
Oh, you know what you could do? It doesn't matter the size. You could actually take a huge plank from the ship, put it on the disc, and then put everything on the plank that's already on the disc and carry it that way. I was just going to offer to, like, since we have to gather up a bunch of stuff and make something to try and, take it back or whatever we're going to do, that Jorri would use Giant Smite turns large and then kind of follow Alistair's advice as far as, like, what to make to get everything back. But, because there's a big mast, too, so it's not just the, all that stuff. Whether to pull off parts of the ship or,
No.
Joe, can I look for silver?
Silver? Yeah. I'll say in that pile of gold, there's probably a little bit of silver. There's I would say most likely some of the cutlasses have the hilt as being silver. Yeah. You see a little bit. Is there something specific you're looking for?
25 gold worth of powdered silver.
Definitely no powdered silver, unfortunately. What spell is this for?
Oh, I was looking at ceremony.
gonna marry someone? Oh no, that's holy water, isn't it?
No, that's ceremony. Pretty sure.
Well, they have a bunch of them. I forget
well,
which thing the ceremony.
No, that's
Yeah.
not ceremony. That's something
Listen,
else.
I
but
told you
was
she
looking
tried
at
to kiss me. I'm just telling you
coming
guys right
of
now.
age for Jorri, which would give you a D4 on like all of your ability checks for 24 hours. But I can wait till we actually have 25 gold worth of silver.
Can we
There's a
powder
marriage thing in
and
there
silver?
too. I was just
You
saying.
got it. Alistair's got proficiency with all sorts of shit. You could probably
Give me silver. I'll make it powder.
powder some silver.
Yeah, I think I will say this. I will allow you to do this, but you have to get Alistair involved.
She's gonna gather up as much silver as she can.
Okay. Oh, why is there no?
Alistair,
Yes.
can you help me with something?
Absolutely. What can I do for you?
I need all this silver to be powder.
Okay. Why?
For magic? I feel like you would know that part.
I didn't know if you'd want to silver a weapon. I didn't know if you wanted to break it down into something else or mix it for a different alloy. But sure, for Matt, what spell? What are you?
For the purposes of this scene, Gutter is there and looking back and forth at both of you.
Nice.
Trying to think of how a cleric would know their spells.
I mean, God could have told it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
It's,
say, he
Mask could have
told you
suggested
straight
something.
up.
And be like, hey, what
Mhm.
about this?
It helps me to. I can do a bunch of stuff with the silver. I was going to use this silver to empower at least Jorri for 24 hours, especially since we're going to that cave.
Yeah. Okay. It's going to take me about an hour or so. If not, well, maybe a little longer. Did you need it right now, or before we went in the cave, or can this wait?
Before we went in the cave would be ideal because it won't help him after we go in the cave.
Well,
It's fine. We don't need to do that if you don't.
There's like an hour trip back to the ship. If you could do it during the hour trip back to the ship or something like that.
I don't think
Could
it's a
have you
walk
sit on the little sled.
with all the gold.
No, the gold's on your floating disc. You're on a sled. I'm pulling the sled.
Oh, oof.
This is getting complicated, and if it's too much work, it's fine. I understand.
I wonder. If I would bend over and pick up a little bit of sand and hold the silver and the sand and look at Gutter, can you this and then kind of like sprinkle the sand this into that? Can you do that? Can you? Yeah, so I'll sit on the sled, and we will see how that works out. Yeah.
I think he was indicating that you two should kiss, and then
Yeah.
that would make the
Yep.
silver.
That was
Yeah.
that like he heard little bits of the conversation last night. That's the only thing he like particularly picked up from that. It's
Good.
just like
Good.
He remembers kissing.
Alistair,
yeah, he remembers kissing.
You-
Not much else, but he remembers that.
Alistair,
I mean,
I just
we all do.
just want you to know that this is your fault. This right here.
Step out.
Okay, as long as you're okay with that. Okay.
Yep.
Yep, yep.
Yep, indeed.
Yep.
I like this kid.
Yep, yep.
But
Yep, 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 yep. You see him just walk out. Just continue.
Yep.
Cool. So I think,
can- I
like,
can
for the
do-
record, I'm going to say this. Like, everything you guys want to do, you can do as far as what you're talking about. This is getting the mast to the ship, getting the gold to the ship. Did I tell you how much gold it was yet? Did we mention
you
this?
did not.
No.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So I think what's really great about this is that actually you don't really know until, because the gold's going on the disc, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because otherwise we
Okay.
couldn't carry it. Yeah.
So, so Alistair, being the magical sort of being that you are, as you're seeing that kind of going on to the disc, there's a certain point in time where you see about halfway through, you see the disc start to kind of like bend down slightly, and you're like, and there's a part of you there like, I don't know if this is going to be able to make it. And after about a point in time, the rest of it gets on, and it does manage to make it because a coin weighs 0.02 pounds, and there's 10,000 gold in there.
Rhyming.
Holy shit.
So you add that
Which
to our
is-
inventory.
200 pounds. So yeah.
Insane.
Didn't you say that you hate giving parties gold?
Yep. So take it.
That's
I
why
could
he's
take it
doing it
back.
all at once.
No. We'll take the 10,000
Don't
gold.
ever ask again. Anyone.
Mongoose got a loan of like 50,000, or no, I think it was like 5,000. And then you
Mongoose
got stuff too.
Mongoose has royalty gold. They have
Yeah.
They have a
It's like,
princess with them.
whatever.
It's fine.
They have
they have a
pot gold.
princess who's just like realizing the concept of money in some ways. She's never really had to worry about
buy
that.
or-
much.
Yeah.
That's how rich she is.
I
Joe?
think. Sorry, Jess. Just
No,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
I think just as Io's looking at this gold pile up, he has that expression where his eyes are just saucers, mouth is in that like U shape, with the
Yeah.
bottom fangs just poking out.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'd love to just kind of hand wave a bunch of this to try to get to the cave tonight. If everybody else is on board,
Well,
you know,
hold
not
on,
hand
'cause
wave,
you-
but like,
hold on,
I'd like
'cause
to
you
do as
cut
much
off-
as possible
hold on.
as. Oh, sorry.
Yep. Time out because you cut off Jess to say that. Jess,
Oh,
what did you
my
want to
bad.
say?
Yeah, yeah.
Really quick, as this is happening, Gwen is not like gold is great, whatever. She's looking for any remaining papers, books, anything that there might be that she was not in the space to look for last night.
Yeah. So the only thing that you were able to find was and actually I don't know if Alistair would even present this to the group yet, was the letter that just said attention Percival.
Yep. 100%.
Okay.
I would.
Yeah. Okay, because she was like, maybe the ship log's still there, but this
Yeah, the
kid
ship
really
log,
likes
that's what I was
books.
thinking.
So any paper.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's
gone.
all gone. You actually like there's certain points where you start to like look at the burnt pages that are burnt all the way through. Like you can see there's just like large scorch marks and some missing pieces, and you see Gunnar kind of like looks at them in your hands and goes, takes it, shreds a piece of it, and then lights them both on fire.
I feel like as he does this, Gwen physically flinches.
Yeah. Just to show you, in case you didn't know paper was flammable, that's what he was trying to tell you. Like, this is great for fire.
Great for
as
fire.
now you know where the rest of the papers probably have gone.
She's just thinking, there's a cave we're going to explore. There's a cave we're going to explore.
Yes. Cool.
Wait,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Yeah, please.
Last little thing. While they're chopping that thing down or getting the mast down and I'm unhelpful, can I also originally cast Identify on the pocket watch?
Yes, you can. So the pocket watch, I realized yesterday I did not make into an item yet. However, it is essentially a free cast of haste or slow once per day.
Nice.
Wow.
That is sick.
And remind me after this, just send me a message. I need to make that magic item. I need to catch up on some of those items. So,
Got it.
Cool. So yeah, so to Jorri's point, I would say if you guys want to do everything, which is the idea of like everything, all the boring stuff that you would have to do, that would mean most likely by the time you reach the cave to say, okay, now we can get into the cave, it's going to be probably around like maybe 3-4 o'clock.
We're going underground. It's already dark.
Which is
a fair
like
point.
truly above board, not going to be that big of a deal. It was just trying to see, making sure we're putting some foot in reality here of like these things do need to be done.
Except when we're trying to run for our lives out of the cave and it's dark, then
Right. Yeah. That's always a possibility.
Well,
Yeah.
at that point, we have magic that can be like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Cool. Just a small thing, like you see. Boaz does meet Gutter for the first time, and just kind of like gives like a questioning glance to Io.
I mean, you should see what this boy can do with a rock. It's gonna be worth it. That's all I'm telling you.
He's got to be a better crew member than Fingers.
That too.
Okay, that hurts. I'm right here.
So sorry.
We
Yeah.
You know what? You go on your own cave trip, and I will stay at the ship.
Oh,
Oh no.
we understand.
Whatever will we do without
Get
you?
it. We understand.
I truly can't tell if Clinton is saying something to his kid or is
I'm talking to
enacting
Fingers.
something. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Fuck him. Just waddle off. Oh, I should have participated in the NaNoWriMo and just have it be Tales of Fingers, like from Fingers' perspective.
Oh my gosh, I was
Tales of
reading the
Fingers.
hell out of
That's
that.
such a good name.
Oh man.
Look, the month is only a third over. You could
That's true.
still write a good amount of the Tales of Fingers.
That's true, and I do have a ton of time on my hands, so
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
You do.
Did Alistair manage to get 25 gold worth of powdered silver before?
yes.
Then, well, we're on the ship.
You
I
made
guess,
the
is probably
sacrifice of
best.
getting him involved. Yes.
Well, we're on the ship. I guess while everything's going on, she's gonna go up to Jorri and say, "I can bolster you for 24 hours. I can only ever do it once, but if we're going to a dark cave with basilisks and who else, whatever the hell else is in there, if you'll let me."
I'm on board. Whatever it is, I'm good.
All right.
I'll
And
trust
then
you.
I think she makes him sit down and pulls out the mask and just places it in his hands. And then I have to cast it for an hour. It's an hour casting time. She's going to teach him Thieves' Cant for an hour.
Okay.
What a cool coming of age ceremony.
So here's the taking an hour to teach a language that is secretive and been
Just some things, like a couple
Right.
of the hand signs.
okay. Yeah.
Like, you
absolutely. I'm
know,
gonna say
Safety.
I was gonna let you
or,
roll
like,
on
your
this,
own-
but you could keep backpedaling if you want. No.
No, not going to
I will
teach him
say
a whole
And we should probably
language in
take
an hour.
exhaustion, I think, if we're doing
Right.
it.
It's like the travel guide to Thieves' Cant.
Yes.
Donde Sala
Yes.
Biblioteca, like
It's just a little like one of those old like early 2000s Palm Pilot translators.
Jorri keeps asking for swears.
Yes. Yep. Cool. So here's what I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask for a. I would like a performance check. This is not for ceremony. Ceremony will happen.
Right.
This is just to see if there's anything that comes from this. So performance check from Siobhan.
it's what was my performance? 16.
16. Cool. And then I need a. I'm gonna say this is an intelligence saving throw for Jorri.
Good.
Mhm.
That's an 18.
Great.
That
Roll a
beats the
19.
16. Amazing. You are. I will say from now until something happens where you're able to fully understand. Why do I have to say that twice? When you're able to fully understand Thieves' Cant in some way, every time Thieves' Cant is said, I will allow you to make a roll on it.
Awesome. I'll make a
To
note
see
of
if
it.
you can do
Yeah. Sweet.
Amazing.
And you now get to roll a d4 for every ability check for the next 24 hours.
Nice.
24 hours, you
Nice.
can add a D4. Super useful.
Pretty cool.
Sweet. The funny part of this too is that also it is an hour. So there is a level of like, ceremony. Like I kind of feel like the components of ceremony should be that there's like at least 2 witnesses, because it's ceremony. But I will say in this case, fingers.
I
would
feel like
definitely
we
stay
do
there
have
the
a
whole time.
witness. Alistair's
mask
probably
is a
trying
witness.
to watch and learn Thieves' Cant from a distance.
From just
Oh, no.
on the side.
I'm
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, right there, trying to learn Thieves' Cant, yeah.
Yeah, love it.
I mean, I've been keeping track of the amount of time you've used Thieves' Cant. I need 24 hours, and I'll be getting there.
Not a lot of time around you so far, but it's
I
getting
love
there.
it. Cool. So yeah, so I'll say with the added, because I didn't know it was an hour, it's going to be 5 o'clock. So 5 o'clock is when you get to the cave, and so we're going to cut to that scene. We see everybody kind of standing around about 50 feet off from the cave itself, and as we're looking at it, I would like you all to roll whatever check you would like here, but I'm saying specifically as like a group perception check.
Oh, I guess I'm doing it.
It's 14 investigation for me.
Okay.
Oh,
8
can we do
perception for me.
investigation?
Yeah, I would say this is. You'll hear. I've started to kind of change my view on this with like DMs that say like, okay, I need a group perception check, because if someone rolls well, then that's good. But maybe you're not perceptive and you wouldn't spend the time being perceiving on things. So this is my kind of like. I'm trying this out, saying yes, this would be a group perception check, but feel free to roll something else if you think that you would be focusing on something.
Yeah.
18 perception.
Okay, nice.
16 investigation.
Okay.
14 survival. Oh wait, I get a D4.
You do?
A 4. So 18 survival.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Nice.
I'm finally a man.
Took Siobhan an hour to make you one, but yes.
Phrasing.
Oh, God.
Io, what are you doing?
8 on perception, so I didn't notice shit.
Okay, you got it. Nalani.
17 survival.
Nice. Survival.
Okay. Cool. So I'm going to say with the all right.
Before you say anything, if Gwen, what'd you roll?
16 for investigation. I rolled perception, but then I changed it to investigation.
I will gladly subtly use Flash of Genius on Gwen if getting her to 21 helps.
Okay. You got it. Cool. So let's do this. So for Alistair, I think you rolled investigation. You got a 14. We're gonna say we're just gonna piggyback off of Gwen's 21 on that for that. Jorri and Nalani, you both rolled survival. Jorri, you got an 18. Nalani, you got a 17. Nalani, this is the third time you've made this trip back, right? 1, 2, 3. You now surmise that you can see a quicker path to be able to get out, just in case if you had to get out from this actual spot here, it would take you, instead of taking an hour and a half to get here, it would take you a half hour.
Okay.
So just in case, quick escape, things like that. This is gonna help a lot. Even if it comes down to an ability check, I would say remind me of that, and that would definitely give you advantage or in your favor or whatnot. Cool. Jorri, with an 18, you see that there are, I think, in taking your time and trying to figure out what the heck becoming of age means to you, I think you're looking down a lot. And you're noticing some other tracks here, some tracks of things that look to be of varying size, some creatures that seem to have like two or three, I gotta check, talons-like fingers, most of which seem to be of about your size feet, maybe a little bigger. I will say there is a very large footprint that you notice at this moment where we are, that you couldn't see the first couple times you went back and forth because it just looked like it was indentations from the ground. So it's at this moment that we're going to talk about here in a second that you're making that realization that there was something very big that was here. Cool. Siobhan, would you roll?
18 perception.
Fantastic. Good. I was looking for that one. So with an 18 perception, you hear rustling through the bushes. And before you're able to respond on anything, you see there is a rather interesting sort of little creature that pops out. Pretty far away from you, doesn't seem to notice you. I'm going to say with that perception check, you're able to kind of keep everyone far enough back that they're fully not noticing you at all. And then the investigation check for Gwyn being a 21. Gwyn, looking at this entrance to this cave for the first time, you see that there's a tree that seems to be growing out of the side of this cave wall. One of the things you notice kind of from the sides is that this isn't really a cave wall as opposed to it being ruins. The difference being that something is quote-unquote man-made, something intelligent made this hole. You know this specifically because you see that there are carved designs of actually carved, not carved, actually carved, carved designs of flowers and flowers with like longer stems that are kind of sticking out of the framework there, that seem to all kind of face into the wall, but extended outward, like kind of like almost like you could even see like the bulb and the stem for some of them, even though you're very far away. This is because you rolled really well in investigation. You also notice that the brick that is here from this ruin sort of formation looks like it is from this mountain and yet also not from this mountain. It has the same sort of look and texture, and I'll give you kind of more on this when we get past here. So let me know if I forget. But you see that there is some significant sort of difference in the space between the places of brick. It looks like it's something that seems to like kind of like shine in the residual sort of sunlight that's still here. But only just like as if there's like some sort of like some sort of like calcium deposit or some sort of like other sort of substance that's in the rock that you're not familiar with. Cool. So as you see this creature kind of pop out and seem to sniff around, Siobhan, you notice initially this creature has 2 legs, has 3 feet, has a giant mouth for its size, and has 2 little stubby arms. You see 2 eyes on the top of its head, and you can see that there's spikes that seem to surround its back and its tail. I am going to show you now what you see.
Guys, remember the wyvern in the cave? I'm getting some flashbacks to that. Maybe not great that we're going in here.
Kind of comes up to you, Siobhan, and starts to kind of like climb up on top of your head and points, and then looks at Jorri. This is Gutter, obviously, and looks at Jorri and does this like really weird like lip thing. Sticks his tongue out, licks his lips, and just like is like sitting on top of Siobhan's head, and just like look at you. He seems I don't know. I think Jorri rolled me an insight check.
I feel like I kind of get what's going on, but let's see.
I would think I do.
No,
too.
I got a nat 1. I have no idea. I think I just repeat what he's doing.
You got it. You got it. Absolutely.
Is it good? That good to eat? Unless that is what he's saying, that I don't get that.
God damn
It
it.
just continues to kind of do the same thing.
It's just one. There's also, at least it's not that thing. And I point to the giant footprint.
That might be its mother. And remember the last time we faced a mother in a cave, guys?
I don't.
You weren't.
I think
Yeah.
Gutter would tell us if that was the case.
Io died the last time.
Perfect natural one.
Like-
Thank you.
Like the big D dead. Come to think of it, I wonder how Abby's doing. Are we really sure we need to go and see whatever the fuck's in this cave? Are we really sure?
You see the creature now kind of close enough to see the like sort of green, sort of leathery skin, is looking around and happens to notice one of the plant clusters seem to move. Goes and pounces on it. And immediately gobbles up one of the blooms. You hear it kind of call out in like a sound of like defiance on what it did.
Nice.
Is there a reaction from Gutter when that happens?
You see, I think Siobhan, you kind of feel like Gutter might be about to close your like pipe, your jeez, like
windpipe,
he's windpipe. Thank you. Like he's holding on so tightly. You're not sure, like you're not facing him. I was saying, Nilani, if you would like to roll an insight check with disadvantage. Or animal handling. I'll allow either in this case.
It's
they'll
not.
be with
It's a 3 and a 4.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go with perception, which only makes it an 8, so nothing.
Okay.
An 8.
You got it.
I mean, everything we fought has had moms. Maybe the ghosts have ghost moms? But we fought a giant crocodile thing. That can't be, whatever is the mom of that can't be that much bigger than that.
At this point, Alistair, roll me a history or nature check, your choice.
History. 14.
Okay. Alistair, roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
That is a 9.
Cool. So here's the thing. You and Gwen are both scientists in a way, right? The magical sort of version of scientists. With a 14, I'm going to say that is enough. It was a contested roll against what I rolled. That is enough to assume that this creature is not cataloged anywhere. With that wisdom saving throw, that is a fail. If I was less trusting of you as a player, I would say you just end up just moving forward almost against your will. But I'm going to allow you to describe to me what you do.
Yeah, so I'm staring at it for a minute, and I think consciously reaching into my bag and pulling back out that wyvern hide that I have. And just kind of tapping on Gwen. This looks similar, but I don't think it's the same, and we would need to get a little bit closer to figure out.
I was gonna say Gwen has already pulled out her notebook and is sketching it from afar. So.
I was gonna say I feel like Gwen would be in the same boat here. I think there's the same thing but with the ruins.
Absolutely. And then I think just absently she's gonna also say, not a cave, ruins and
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to bring it closer if we could get closer, or I could try and bring it closer to us?
Alistair,
Are y'all
I
seeing
can
this
bring it
right
closer.
now?
Just let me. You guys get ready, and I can bring it closer. I can run faster than you and draw it out.
Okay, but it's still got to be still for her to draw it. We don't want it to.
And how do you intend on doing that?
it doesn't really seem interested in us
Can
right now.
I
We
don't
might be
think
too
it's
big
seen
for
us
it.
yet.
I mean,
can we go ahead and just kill it, and then y'all can study the remains however you see fit?
aren't you?
So I'm going to give Nalani a second here. Nalani, you see a creature that obviously certain members of your party are very interested in. Siobhan has already offered to sacrifice herself to be able to get it closer to you. I'm going to give you a second, Nalani, to give me an idea of what you're going to do. I want to give you a chance to kind of give me some Nalani perspective here.
Nalani has just been watching, and in the past, he knows he gets reprimanded for hastily shooting things. But when Io said, maybe we should kill it, why don't you just kill it already? Nalani is going to raise his bow, not hastily, very deliberately and slowly, as if to give opportunity to others to stop him.
Okay, that's fair.
Like almost side-eyeing Gwen in particular.
That was adorable.
Cute.
Okay, does anybody stop them?
I'm
Yes.
staring at Gwen's notebook.
I had to roll to see if she noticed it because she's so focused on the ruins ahead, sketching what's there, whispering with Alistair, and I rolled an 11. So I don't know if that's good enough to notice.
That's up to you as far as the sliding scale goes. It is above 50%.
Yeah.
All right.
I think she would sort of glance over at Nalani and just go, it hasn't attacked us yet. It's just living its life. And then go back to studying it from afar.
Okay. Nalani's
Not really telling you
free
not
and
to do
fire.
it.
I think
Okay. I think Io's, since I think Nalani's in front of all of us slightly. I definitely
No,
saw
you're all
that.
in a line as far as this
gotcha.
goes.
Okay, we are realistically on the line. Gotcha. But I think still it's like, all right. We'll hold off for now. Just keep a handle on the bow, Nene.
We got it. I need a group stealth check from everybody.
cat's paw, nat 20.
Nice. Cool.
13.
14.
13. Okay. 14.
Same as Jess, 14.
Okay.
6.
Okay.
Boom.
I got played on.
Yeah.
28.
Okay. And a natural 16 from Gutter, which is a 21. That's right.
Nice.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so weird thing here. We have 3 successes for failures, except that one of the successes was a nat 20. So here's what I'm going to say. So that means it's in my view, that would negate someone else's on this. So I would say you guys somehow remain successfully hidden. I'm going to just, for my own sake of consciousness here, I think I'm just going to put this in front of you guys. as it just, I need to make sure it makes sense in my head.
Mhm.
Cool. As you hear the trees start to tremble and shake as the parents seem to look for their lost child.
Oh my god,
What?
they're so cute. I love them.
Gwen, do you see them?
I do. Look.
The teeth.
So you see gigantic forms of the
Yeah, those are pretty
same
big.
thing, designed as a considered to be a large creature, but only because of its small legs, as it's mostly mouth. You see these figures with their spikes kind of like sticking up briskly. You notice that there's different sort of colors to them. One interesting thing I want to mention just before I hear you, Jess, but one thing that I want from Alistair is I believe an Arcana check.
14, 12, 26.
26. You were this creature is relatively small, even like smaller than you guys. The baby, and it was hard to kind of see the eyes from here. Something that you've found to be like a growing thing, especially in this world, that like different odd colored eyes typically resembles some sort of like magical substance, or like a lot of these creatures are more magical than not. It's kind of a weird thing. As you see these things trample out, knocking over this very like heavy sort of palm tree and knocking it down to the ground, you hear this huge sort of scream that lets out from one of them as they seem to be talking to each other, which tells you that they seem to have some sort of intelligence. However, as you see them look around, you see the black, onyx black eyes telling you that these things are most likely not magical. They are just forces of nature. They look extremely powerful, but not magical.
And did they come from the ruins or from the like trees around?
They did not come from the ruins. They seem to be around the ruins. And now I'm going to say this, and this is actually where we're going to end tonight, give you guys a chance to figure out how you're going to be able to get through this. Gutter is going to look at Jorri, and you see his tongue kind of go back and forth like this and points as you see the massive tongue of this creature sticking out of its mouth, moving back and forth. And you see Gutter go like this. Basically kind of like you see him actually, he takes out his staff. He's still on Siobhan's head, takes out his staff, takes out the deck of the shield. He's ready to go. You assume that most likely he runs away from these things on a daily basis, but now he's with a group of friends and now we can fight. So let's go and let's do this. That's going to be Gutter's perspective, but we're going to find out what we're going to do next week. As with that, we will end tonight's session. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Have a good week. Bye.